Bro, what the hell is up with you, man? How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm great, dude. I'm great. Okay, I hit record because I had to get that reaction of seeing Cory's face live for the first time. Oh my goodness. The voice matches the face. I mean, I knew what you looked
Oh,
like, but never live.
oh, yeah. I guess everything I've sent you has been photos, so you've
It's been
really never got to.
photos, it's been videos, but never live. So,
And
welcome.
you know
You
my
are our third guest, week 3 of the Nexus podcast. Everybody, this is Cory. This is Chi-Chi. This is the guy that's been blessing you guys with all the altcoins. So hit like for that. Dak and Jet, we already know. Cory, how are you, man? How are things?
I'm good. I'm. It's cold down here in Florida.
What's
We
the
are.
temperature right now?
Well, you know Celsius, but Fahrenheit. It has literally been the last 3 days have been in the upper 40s and low 50s, which
That's
is
probably what, like
cold. I mean, for
that's like
Florida,
-10.
probably. Yep.
You know, I
Something
used
like
to
that.
always, I got some friends in Florida, and I used to see some people like, specifically girls, but girls are always cold. But anyways, I would see some girls like in hoodies or like, I mean, I don't really go on TikTok, but the people that are from LA and then they're wearing like hoodies, and I'm like, how are you even wearing hoodies when it's so hot there? But Florida does get cold in the winter.
Yeah.
So yeah, because I'm in the Panhandle, so I'm like almost the farthest north that you can go, in the northwest corner of Florida.
Oh,
Almost. Yeah,
okay.
We are. I am literally about 45-minute drive to the Alabama border. So but I'm still on the coast. So we get seasons here. We get cold, or cool,
Mm.
cold. Does it snow here? Once every like 15 years, it'll flurry for a little bit, but it'll melt immediately. So,
Okay, okay.
yeah, and I've only lived here. I've lived here for 12 years now, and I've never seen snow here in Florida. But 4 hours, a couple hours north in Alabama. Yes.
Okay, so you're not foreign to snow, because everybody I talk to that's like, dude, how do you, or the people that don't have snow, like Dak, do you get snow in Greece?
Yeah, we get like snow in half the country, and then the other half is like so and so. Sometimes it snows, sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah, the people that don't get snow, they're like, man, it's so beautiful. I love it. And I'm like, dude, listen, I can't even explain in words how cold it gets here. And it's not even that bad. It's not even that bad here. Like, there are some places in Canada that get way colder than here. And I'm like, dude, you need to, like, I can't even describe it. Like, you got to live it. There's certain things you can't
Yeah.
describe. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
No,
I'm born and raised in Minnesota, and that's butt cold up there. I mean,
Yeah,
it's freezing, and I'm
Minnesota,
glad to be out of there.
Minnesota
Oh yeah.
Vikings. Vikings. Are they in the playoffs?
Yeah, we play tomorrow night against the
Okay.
Rams. That
Who do they
the
play?
game got moved out of LA, and now it's Arizona.
Are you a big football guy?
Oh yeah, Vikings for sure. Yeah, big
Okay.
time Vikings.
Everybody, man, everybody in the States. When I was in Cancun, like everybody that I met was from Kansas City. And I'm like, wait, so if I say fuck Patrick Mahomes or whatever the guy's name is, I'm like, you guys are going to try to drown me? They're like, yeah. I'm like, okay. Yeah, man, everybody in the
Well,
States
I
is
mean,
super.
I do like hockey though too, because Minnesota does have a pretty good hockey team. So
Yeah.
I do follow hockey as well. And so
Minnesota
now that
Wild.
we're almost so we're almost out of football season, and then we're moving into hockey.
Yeah. Man, playoffs for hockey is my favorite thing, but I'm Canadian, so it is what it is. Anyway, man, let's talk Nexus. So you've been here now with us for a while. I mean, when did you join? Like, when have you been?
I actually, believe it or not, I think I joined your Discord 1 year ago.
Okay, so a year
I
ago.
met, yeah, I started following you on YouTube because I was, just typing up market cipher. I just wanted to learn
Okay.
more about market cipher, and obviously
Yeah.
this came up, and then that's kind of how you drew me in.
Yeah, yeah. That seemed a lot of my audience is the market cipher people. So I did something right. But yeah, man, why don't you just tell us, like, cuz you've been here since we started to develop, like, there's been a lot of changes in the last year, with everything.
Oh,
The whole
sure.
Discord is different. My YouTube content is different. Even the way that I trade now is very different. So why don't you talk us through, like, how you've grown in the last year here? Like, what's your impression of just everything, like just an
Yeah.
overall.
So, to start, I've been in crypto for, it's been a long time. But obviously, when the market's shitty, you kind of step away for a year and then you kind of come
Yeah,
back.
yeah.
Yeah.
I started, I actually started the very first bull run. So for me, when I came in, it was December when, well, I started in September, but really started to look at it in December because that was when you could literally throw a dart at the wall and make money on everything. But back then, I still remember that when I first got in, I thought it was amazing that there were 700 different crypto coins, and
Yeah.
now look at what we've got.
Wait, when you say
Billions.
very first bull run, you mean like what is it, 2011 or
Well,
2013 or whatever?
2017 was when I got in during
Oh,
that
okay.
bull run
Okay, okay,
in
okay.
2017. Yep. So
Oh,
I've
so you and
experienced. So
Kenny
this
got
will
in
be
at the same
third.
time.
Yep. So this one will be kind of my third. The first one you make a whole bunch of money because everything's going up.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then you just think it's going to keep going up.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
all of a sudden you go from riding the top to all of a sudden you're just like, what the hell's happening? What the hell's happening? Oh
Yep.
shit.
Yep. Yep. And then
So
they
that's
teach you diamond hand, so you just diamond hand all the way to the bottom. Yeah.
yep, all the way back to round trip that
Yep.
bitch.
Yep. Yep.
So that's so it got started back then, but kind of fast forward to where we are today. I when I came in, I tried using a lot of indicators. Like I was big on I've tried every indicator that there is. And obviously they don't. If you think about it, none of them are going to work because the fact that market structure can do anything it wants to do. And obviously, crypto is a lot. The liquidity sweeps are much bigger on crypto than it is in the stock market.
Yeah.
So Market Cipher was kind of the one that I just kept going back to because there were a couple strategies on there that I started seeing that worked, but they weren't happening very often. So that's when I started looking at you and looking at seeing some of what you do. And back then, everything was Market Cipher for you. I mean, every single video you were putting out was
Market
talking
cipher.
about
Market cipher.
Market Cipher.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was like, okay, let me take this guy's courses. So I took your courses, and obviously that it did make a big difference. But then that's when I really started getting in deeper into real market structure because I do think that market structure, like you say every day, structure is king. And
Yeah.
if you back test and go into a chart, it's fun just to learn. I mean, even if it's just 1 minute. I mean, whatever happens on the 1 minute is going to happen on the monthly. It's just
Yep.
going to happen a lot less, and the move is different. So market structure is definitely something that has changed the game for me. And then I started getting into, kind of seeing how market structure works with these different EMAs. And that's how I kind of got into it. And the EMAs aren't going to work all the time, but they work really well for support bands, obviously when we're moving, right? Because you pull back to a certain EMA, and that's your entry to go long again in a bull market, or a bull move. But it also works very good for entries. When you're coming down to the bottom, where it's coming around, as soon as you regain something. So I've kind of taken what you've done with market structure and kind of added my own little flair to it, and it's been working pretty well.
Yeah, man. I mean, like when I first started out, everything was targeting Market Cipher because they had an audience and I was just piggybacking off of their audience. And you know what? I gotta say, man, I've been saying it for quite some time, like this time around over the past few months, especially in the Nexus. Like there are seasons to it. There are seasons to Market Cipher. Even our 74K range that we were in for like 7 months on the daily, like that shit was green money flow, green dots on the daily, and yet it wasn't going up. And I had to justify to the whole group and everybody and YouTube of why it's not going up. And everybody was just like, no, man, there's a green dot. It's thick money flow. It's going to go up. And I mean, don't get me wrong. I went one too far. Like I was wrong in the last quarter of that range, but for the 3/4 of that range, I was right. And I've kind of learned like it's not all that meets the eye with these indicators. And yeah, they're good, but you said it best, man. Structure is everything. And I think that once I really honed in on my structure, it's really beneficial to be able to look at those indicators after you've developed that eye for structure. So to bring in your EMAs now, I've introduced a lot of people to Tino as well, because when I first started, it was market structure and vector candles, and that's basically where I learned from. So those EMAs and those strategies come into play, but then when you add the structure element of what we're doing every day and how the price moves and really understand what the order flow objective is, like you said, man, those EMAs are you can get real confluence once you add all the things. Like that's at least for me. Oh, we lost Jet. That's at least for me, I think the tipping point. And you've had a lot of success here lately, and you've brought a lot of success to the Nexus. So I'm gonna ask you about that in a moment. But yeah, I think that's where most people go wrong, because a lot of people's TA, and with respect to them, there's no one way that's better than the other. But a lot of people's TA is like, okay, we have a green dot, or we're at a vector candle, or we're at an EMA, and then they just think like, okay, it's easy, but it's not that easy. Like, that, I know that, and I think that's the disconnect between indicators, EMAs, RSIs or whatever, and then what actually happens. Because for the most part, I mean, we all know the stat: 95% of people lose, and 95% of people are using these indicators. And that's not to say that using these indicators would equal to you losing, but you got to really utilize it. It's a tool. It's not the main thing. And I think you've done a really good job lately combining the two. So I commend you for that.
Yeah, and when I'm in a chart and I'm looking at the EMAs, I'm looking at market structure, they do go hand in hand. When you take a look at, if it's coming down and like the 2 or the 3 minute time frame. When you have that fall, you're looking for that bottom. What happened in that bottom? At what point would you have taken that trade to make it work? And then you find similarities with when was the last time that it bottomed, and what's similar between that and between this. And then what I keep going back to is that I'm watching those EMAs, and as soon as price regains and holds the 50 EMA as support, it happens over and over and over again. So it's like, why are you trying to catch the knife? Why are you trying to get in early? Just wait for this to happen, because it's a proven fact that it's happened every other time.
Yeah.
Price is going to continue to move up once you hold a certain point. And what can you use as that? Well, just use a simple moving average, and have that as your point. Put the stop below the cloud, whatnot, and then where's your target? And that is, I think, one of the biggest things is that I've learned. I think here in the Nexus as well, is you're entering a trade, but if you don't know where you're going, why are you entering it? Because you can enter something that looks beautiful, but it ends up being where it's literally a 1-to-1 move and then comes back down again. So if you don't know where you're targeting, you probably will trade a lot less. And I think that is the key: is trading less, but having the Nexus trade, better.
Yeah, man, I agree. And you and I don't even trade the same. And there's no, like, everyone they create their own, right? Like, the way I learned was from a couple different people that I've given credit for multiple times, and then I've just taken the bits and pieces that fit for me and my risk appetite and what I'm looking for. And as I'm sure others have with my teaching, right? Like, there's no, oh, you have to do this and that's it. And so you've taken my structure and what I do and what I preach every day, and liquidity and understanding the order flow objective and where you're targeting, etc., and combined it with, for example, Tino's vector candles and the teachings I've done with vector candles. And like I said, I think you've done a really good job of combining the two, because you have a different way of trading than I do, and your way, you get a lot more trades. They're less risk to reward, but that's okay. Not every trade is going to be the way that I trade on a 10 risk to reward. And it's good because it keeps the Nexus busy when my setups, I mean, you know how things have been, man. I've been saying it on the channel too, like, tail as old as the bull run. They are not giving good longs. They give good shorts, which is why I appear to be a perma bear. But, with the EMAs, which I personally don't do, the group as a whole gets to get some really good plays because of you. So I thank you for that. And on behalf of the Nexus, I thank you for that as well.
Thank you. Yeah. So, I'm just trying to, I know that you focus, mainly on just some coins, let's say we'll pick 6 or 10 of them out of there. And there's so many other ones to trade. And what I think that we as a team can start getting into is, obviously we know that Bitcoin goes up, everything's going to follow it. Bitcoin comes down, everything's going to follow it. So, even if Bitcoin's making a 1 or 2% move to you, that might be like a 10 risk to reward, that might be a 40 risk to reward on something else. So, being able to kind of look for those when Geo's got his and he says, this is the zone. Okay. Now we're going to find another coin that this is the zone, but you've got a big space in between here. And what happens in them empty spaces? The price just rockets. So, trying to catch some of them. So that's kind of what I'm trying to bring to the group is just, another way that, you don't want to go 50x leverage in there, but you can still make a little bit of money by riding the wave of Bitcoin.
Yeah, man, it's great because you need to be able to like, man, the market conditions, like I said earlier, for a while, it wasn't cipher season. Like everybody in the 74K range for the first 3 months or for the first 3 quarters of it, were saying higher, higher, higher. And I was saying, no, no, no. It ended up not going higher, obviously, until it did. But that was not cipher season, because if it was, then it would have worked. You know what I mean? So I thought, so under certain market conditions, there's a point where you got to just, okay, you could throw whatever on the wall and everything's going to stick. But then in other times, it's not as simple as that. And I think that that's important to identify, like, okay, is it cipher season? Is it not cipher season? Remember, at the end of the day, market cipher is an indicator like any other. There's no magic behind it. Like it's good and it's a great tool, but that's just it. It's a tool. So you need to know when you can use the tool. It's like if you have a hammer, but you need to, like, I don't know, drill a hole. Like you can't drill a hole if you have a hammer. You need a drill. Like, you know what I mean? You got to know how to use the tool and when to use the tool. And so.
And I think the patterns thing too, because there are certain patterns in there that do have a very high success rate. And that's why we were looking at, when you first started pointing out cheat sheet entries, right? We saw some really good 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hour cheat sheet entries back when I think it was last spring, when it was, when we had that pump. And so there are certain things that you can look for. You haven't seen cheat sheet entries lately, especially not on the bigger time frames.
I know, man.
Because
I know.
we've been doing this, right? So we probably maybe have seen that on going down, but we really don't look. So there are certain patterns that I think is a good reason why market cipher is good, but it's not always going to work. But there is, the higher the time frame, the better everything plays out.
Absolutely.
So, it's always like, don't get stuck on going to the chart and looking at the 15-minute hour. Don't even start looking at the 15-minute. When you can change your trading to where you start on the monthly, come down to the 3, come down to the 2, to the 1, you're going to know which direction it's going by the time you're getting to the 1. Play that direction. Because if you start at the 15, you have no clue.
Yeah, man, absolutely.
Which time frame do you prefer using the most out of, like, between 1 and right before the daily, basically?
So what I'll normally do, like if I'll come into a coin, literally everybody should be looking at least the daily at the beginning. I mean, I even might look at the daily. Obviously, you're going to see the bigger picture. But if you can bring that sucker into the weekly, now all of a sudden you're like, okay, this thing is clearly, we've got a bullish engulfing candle, right? So now we know on the weekly that we are going to go for a little bit of a ride. So then you can come down to the 2 and to the down to the 2 to the 1 day and start seeing, okay, so if we are going for a ride, where is the likely spot that it might kind of come back on the 4 hours or on the daily to grab that in. So I love to what I'll normally do is I try to really pinpoint on the daily, where's the top of that candle, where's the top and the bottom of this candle closing, and where is it in? I mean, are you at the bottom or are you at the top? At least in the range. And then from there, it's like, play that daily candle. Is that daily candle look like it's got 2 more days to go before it gets to a large order block, something like that. So daily 4 hour, very important. And then from there, it's from anything even under the 1 hour, you should just be looking for an entry or looking for, price to start slowing down. So
Yeah,
unless you're really scalping, and I don't, really scalping it's so hard
man.
with crypto because the fact that the fees are so far.
It's not, I mean, I wouldn't say because of the fees, but it's exhausting. Like scalping can be very exhausting trying to make sense of like the amount of nonsense that goes on a regular with crypto. Like you could have such a clear vision. Like I'm going to keep referencing that range, that 74K range. For three quarters of that 7 months, it was like up, and you could imagine it, but it takes so long and it like just does so many tricks. And scalping can be very hard, and it's very it's very, like, you need to really be attentive, and it's very draining. And I want to add something. So you remember in December I took that week off. I needed it. Like I was overworking myself.
Yeah.
I'm in the Nexus updating it 24/7, and it happened to be at the all-time high when I decided to take my break. And I updated everybody like maybe 2 or 3 times that week, or however many days. And I just told everybody, listen, I'm swing short and chill. And I have to say, like, that week where I just shorted that one time and I was swing short and chill and I didn't even look, not only was it so different, like it was so refreshing to just be in a position and not have to stare at this thing every hour or every minute of every day like I do. Like even right now I'm looking over every 2 seconds.
I know they
Right?
do.
Right? Or like it was so refreshing to not have to do that. And not only that, that was my first 10K trade, funny enough. Like that was my most profitable trade, was doing it that way. And so, to anybody that's listening right now, if scalping is draining on you, or you're not having the success that you want, or whatever the case is, like you don't need to be a scalper. You can make good money being a swing trader. And the reason I even went in this direction is because you were talking about the 4 hour, the daily time frame and whatnot. And although scalping can be very profitable for you, of course, sometimes it's not worth the amount of stress that comes with it. Like it's so, I can't even explain how refreshing it was for me to not have to just like, man, I shorted one time. I did the work one time. I told the group, guys, I'm swing short and chill. And then I like, took my time off. Tried to anyways. I was in there, but and it was the best thing ever. So to anyone that's like struggling, I highly, highly, highly recommend, zoom out, man. Zoom out. Even when you're on the 1 or 2 minute time frame, 3 minute, 5 minute time frame, people are so zoomed in all the time. Just zoom out. Like even zoom out on those small time frames. Get your, if you're on the 2 minute time frame, which is crazy, but if you're scalping on the 2 minute time frame, zoom out so that you can see like 8 hours. But you're on the 2 minute time frame, like make, you know what I mean? And it's
scary
just
to see how much that thing can move on an 8 hour time frame, and you could lose or win $100, and it's like on an 8 hour it hasn't even moved. So you really get to know that
yeah,
you are in a minute little area and you've got to be precise. So
yeah, yeah,
if you are losing like that, and for a while earlier this year I was having some issues with that. Is I'm gonna scalp these things at 40x, and make a couple moves and then you lose a bunch. If you come in here and you're losing money, I mean, swing trading is the way to go. Number one, and take a step back and just turn on the geo real times, because man, if you hit those, you've got such a high win rate that there is nobody, like you say, is nobody in here that should be losing money. Nobody. Just take Geo's trades and
yeah,
chill.
yeah.
And
I
you will,
actually,
and do that for a month. I literally, I'll challenge anybody.
you did
Do
that for a
that for a
while.
month.
You did that for a while. You're like, listen,
Yeah.
fuck
And
this.
I
I'm
went,
not taking shit until Geo tells me.
Yep. And the thing is
That's what we
I
used to
really,
tell
I'm
the
trying
YouTube
to,
people.
yeah, and I'm really trying to get into that right now with because I really want to get the journal going so that we can
Yeah,
show these
man.
guys, if you only take geo trades, and obviously sometimes there might be 3 or 4 of them, but nobody's ever going to make every single one of them. But if you get the good ones and we document what we're doing, right? People will be jumping to come into this group because
Yeah.
they'll know that this is all you have to do. You just gotta, you can get some free learning out of the deal, but learn from Geo and don't make any other trades. and you can be successful.
Yeah, so I think it's a great time to talk about those journals because bro, nobody's doing it. And to be fair, like it starts with me, you know. I'm not going to sit here and say that uh it's not like at the end of the day, it starts with me, right? So I don't use it,
Mhm.
but what I've been doing and what we've been doing lately is, I mean, the Discord, like the Nexus is kind of my journal. Like everything that I do, you guys know,
Mhm.
right? It's basically like I'm sharing my journal with you, like all my
Yeah.
secrets, basically. So that's why I created that journals and the journey channel because
Mhm.
I want people to do basically what I do. Like that's how you're going to get better. You know, if you just enter because you see a green dot, you're not going to learn anything. You're not going to change your life that way. You're not going to control your narrative that way, right? Like you need to have a systematic, you don't need to like necessarily go in and just write everything fine, but you need to have some form of work that you can like show your work. You know what I mean? Like this is not
Mhm.
multiple choice. Like you got to show your work at some, you know,
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
order to succeed. And so when we started the whole journals thing, like I think it's a good idea, and I think it fell off because I mean it starts with me, but that's man, I can't express. I don't want to say how important journaling is because it sounds so generic. I don't think it's that important to like journal it in that way where you need the stats. But I think it's important so you can at least go back and back test. And that's why those channels are really beneficial for everybody because when we start doing our, we're adding 2 more streams per week. One is going to be the course streams. So anyone that has questions, because obviously you get the course included in the Nexus. We got, you know, Q&A and whatever. Not that I'm not always in there answering questions anyway. And the second one is going to be a recap of trades that people either won or lost. You know, what could we have done better? We got in this trade, but it didn't hit this target. Why not? We got in this trade and, you know, we did poor risk management or poor trade management and then we got stopped out. Why? So to go back and actually learn all that, that's where the journaling comes in, man. It's really important, I think.
Man, and I think
Yeah.
one more important channel that I really like the general idea of now that the course is semi out is the study channel. Like I don't type a lot in there. I don't think I've typed anything in there myself, but I see the guys using it a lot, and I really like that because learning from each other is, for me, it's number two way to learn. Learning from your mistakes for me is number one, right?
Absolutely,
Yeah.
man. Like at the end of the day, you're learning from somebody's mistake. Whether I made the mistake, I've been in the game for a long time. I got a lot of skin in the game. So if I made the mistake, why do you need to learn from it when you can learn from me? You know what I mean? Like
Exactly.
that's
And
kind
that's
of the
one
whole
thing that's
thing.
really good about, about a journal is that, when you took that loss, take a screenshot of it, put it in there. Because if you go back every single morning and say, what did I lose yesterday? If I lost 2 trades, 2 small scalps yesterday, okay, here's what I did wrong. I bet you look at that thing every day, 3 days in a row, you ain't going to do that again. So
Oh
that's
yeah,
why it's important, is because you can document your losses. You then, obviously you got to become a good loser, right? So if you're screenshotting that and seeing, okay, I entered here and here's why it went wrong, and you put a little blip in there, you look at that every single morning and say, okay, here's my 1 or 2 trades from yesterday or for the week. Here's what I did on Sunday. I come in. What did I do last week? I lost these 3. Okay, look at those 3. Why did I lose? Well, I didn't wait for confirmation. And you know what? That I've noticed is when I do take a loss, I keep coming back to just like take that hammer and put it over my head and be like, I didn't wait for confirmation. I didn't wait for confirmation.
yep,
And
yep,
confirmation could have been 2 candles away, but those 2 candles didn't happen.
yep.
So
And yeah,
take the losses, screenshot them. Why did you not do it? And I'm actually thinking about, I've got some things that I really like, some patterns that I'm seeing that I really like to see over and over. And some of them are actual Nexus trades. Go to Kinko's. I mean, my printer's out. Go to Kinko's, print those things out, and have a book or something sitting on your desk that says, here are, if it comes into this area, which we know these are cycles, they're happening over and over and over again. Take a look at that. Why did you lose, and what would have that been as a winning trade?
All right,
man,
so
yeah.
I
It's kind of
wanna
like. Sorry,
I
go
wanna
ahead, Dak.
say what you wanted to say now, and I want to interrupt because we need to move on to the questions from the guys after this.
Okay, what I was gonna say was like, man, trading is not that different from like high level sports in a sense of the margin of like, let's call it UFC champion. Like when you're a fighter, the margin between the best in the world, the champion versus the number one contender is so slim. Like that's why they cut weight, you know, and they do it so extensively. Like literally, you know, 1/10 of a pound that you're over, or you should like can make a difference. That's how small the margin is. And I find that with trading, it's similar in a sense of everyone. I feel like it's just little refinements that people need, and you know what it is, right? And that's where the journaling comes in. I'll tell you this, me myself, I've noticed lately, and it's been a thing, but I've like been okay. I gotta fix this. I suck on Fridays. I don't trade weekends because weekends suck. I am so shit on Fridays. My biggest losses are on Friday. It is not uncommon for me to be profitable Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then Friday I like lose half my. I'm like, what the hell am I doing? What am I doing? Like, why am I giving away the whole week's work on Friday? Like, and you know, I wouldn't have realized that if I didn't have the Nexus and I wasn't journaling it basically like through the Nexus, right? So I'm seeing it. I'm like, ooh, I'm not doing well on Fridays. Maybe I should just take that Friday off. And I think that, you know, to go back to the margin of error thing, like it's a small thing. It's not anything necessarily wrong with it. It's a thing. I suck on Fridays. So you got to be able to make those fine adjustments. And, you know, it could be that, it could be waiting for 2 candles. It could be fucking 1 candle. You know what I mean? Like you were right there. And that's your difference between losing half of your profits on a Friday versus now you could have just doubled it if you were just a little bit more patient. So it's like those little refinements.
Yeah, definitely.
All right,
And
let's do some questions.
yeah. Okay, I don't.
By the way,
wanna-
Dak, your mic is super quiet. I don't know why.
Is it?
That's very quiet.
Okay, give me just a second. Okay, should be better now.
Jet, fuck Patrick Mahomes.
Dude, he changed the city, bro.
Is it Mahomes with an M or with an N? I actually don't even know.
It's with the M.
HAMAH.
Yeah, fuck that guy.
Dude,
All right.
the experience from living in Kansas City before Patrick Mahomes and after, you can like, it's a complete difference, dude. City's popping right now.
You guys. All right, Dak.
Man, Jed, do you want to start on question 1? This is all questions from our guys in the Discord, because the YouTube people didn't actually come through this time. But yeah, we have some interesting stuff to talk about.
BKK Master asked, what were your guys' biggest struggles when trading early on, and what are your guys' daily and weekly routines? Cory, you could probably go first, and then Gio can answer.
All right. Well, like I said earlier, when I first got in, I had no clue what I was doing. Actually, no clue. I mean, it was at the point where, you know, everybody was. This is probably the last, you know, that last 2 weeks before the bull run ended. So literally everything was just going up, and you know, people have not experienced what that can do. And I literally, you know, I don't even know if it's going to happen in this one because the charts are just completely different. But so I had no idea what I was doing, but I was making money, which was really, really, really awesome. So the mistakes that I learned as the price is coming down and I'm continuing losing is I got to figure out what I'm doing. Right. So once I started watching videos and trying to study the charts, I knew that, you know, there is a lot to learn. I mean, I didn't have Geo. So and a lot of the guys that are coming in here, you know, you guys are coming in, you should be feeling pretty lucky because what this group has, and I've been through a couple groups before, and you've got something special here. So take what you have, take what's being given to you, and learn it because it literally can change it. Okay, Gio, I'm done talking about you.
Thank you. Yeah, man, it's like weird when I'm here. Like I watched last week's back because I wasn't there, And then when they were saying like the nice things, like it's, I'm not there, so it's kind of nice, but it's weird. Anyways, well, thank you, I appreciate it. Yeah, for me, the hardest thing I would say, man, like there's so many, dude. This game is so hard, but I would say,
Patience.
that it's like it's not really knowing what you're doing wrong. Like that's the problem, and I think that that's something that I do different. I attack the market, not like the charts, the market as in like traders, me, because I'm targeting traders. Like that's my market, right? This is a business at the end of the day, and my whole like market that I'm attacking or attracting is retail, right? Like that's who we all are. And I think that the hardest thing that I've had and why I've taken this approach is because you don't know what you're doing wrong. Like I say it all the time, 95% of retail loses, yet we're learning from retail. Why would we learn from retail if 95% of retail loses? That makes no sense, right? And so when you're doing things like looking for divergences, which don't even get me started on how much they're not working lately, or any other thing, RSIs or whatever it is. I've never been a big fan of RSI, but when you're taught one thing and then it's not working and you're like, well, what the hell am I doing wrong? And then you're on the internet and you're seeing everybody else like appearing to be profitable and things look so dandy. And it's like, am I an idiot? Like man, I said this, I think on the first episode too, like my first cycle was last bull market, like last time. And I was losing and it looked like everybody else was making money, but I was losing because I would only buy. I was a perma bull. I was longing the green dots that BitBoy, told me to buy. I wasn't being a man and holding myself accountable. I wasn't holding myself accountable. So I'm like, like not knowing what you're doing wrong is it fucks with your mind, but it's a hard place to be in general. And because you can't refine, like you can't work on things if you don't know what you're doing wrong,
Yeah.
So that's something that I take pride in. More so than just, okay, I'm in this short trade or whatever. Like, who cares? Okay, we all made money, whatever. But why? And that's why this is my target for the marketplace. This is why from the dawn of my channel, I say, my name is Gio, and every day I teach you guys why the market moves the way that it does. It's not because there's a dot here or there's an EMA here or the RSI is oversold or overbought. That's not why it's moving. And so for me, that was the hardest part, was figuring out that why, because at some point, like, you got to try to make sense of it. Like what, like, and no one ever asks that. Why is it doing this? But really, why is it doing this? They say, okay, why isn't it going up? It's a bull. You know what I mean? But that's not the question. Why? What's the intention behind every move? And yeah, that's been the probably the most difficult part for me.
I think not asking why makes a lot of questions in a lot of places. Kind of the same thing with like real life inflation and stuff. Nobody asks, why is my money worth less? They just kind of, oh, eggs are expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah, literally. They think things are more expensive as opposed to their firepower being diluted. But it's,
Yep.
sometimes you just go.
What is a dozen eggs in Greece and what's a dozen eggs in Canada right now?
I would say a dozen eggs here
Per
are probably
dollar.
like,
1 second.
I don't even know, like maybe
You don't
like
eat eggs, you go to the gym.
maybe like $8 or something, like $8, $9, something like that.
They
Damn.
come up here. I think I'm at between 4 and like 4.75 for a dozen here. But they have come up quite a bit.
Between 4 and 4.75. Well, I'm talking Canadian dollars. So
Oh,
yeah,
US
like
dollar.
our dollar right now, the dollar's like 1.4 or something. Like it's like our dollar is horrible. The Canadian dollar is absolutely abysmal. So if you're paying let's say $4 or $5, I'm probably paying like $8, maybe $7, $8.
Okay.
We're paying, I think we're paying like for a dozen eggs. Maybe it depends. Well, it depends on the quality of the egg because there's three types. But
Yeah.
the ones I get, which is like the middle one, is like 2.8 euros, something like that.
Yeah, wait, I
don't know.
I gotta-
Wait,
I think it's probably about $3.
I gotta update the Nexus right now. This is gonna go in the video, but it's okay.
hold on. It's like
I gotta update them real quick. Guys, we're in the middle of watch this zone. Fractal MSF or no trade. We're in the middle. We're in
Oh, I
the
just got your
middle
notification.
of a podcast right now. Say hi. You're on
Yeah,
TV.
so
All
euro
right, let me come back.
2.8 is like $2.87.
Oh, that's not bad. Must have a
Like
lot of
a
chickens over there.
1 to 1.02.
Too expensive, bro. They're too expensive. I'll tell you that. And yes, I do.
Yeah.
go to
Everything
gym.
is.
Thanks.
I know those shoulders, man. Boulder shoulders over there.
I got vacation in 1 month. Your boy's been going hard. Okay, I fell off after Cancun, but I'm coming
Are
back.
you
I'm gonna
dieting
come.
again?
Yeah, I'm back. I'm back.
Nice.
And I feel
nice.
so good, man. I feel so good.
I'm
Man,
back too, bro. I've been waking up early to go before work. Go
There
at
we
like
go.
6 a.m.
There we go.
I'm
There we
back in the
go.
cut as well. I went like 90 kilograms from 82.
All right, what's our next
No,
question?
trim it down. Well, our next question is oh well, actually I didn't answer the previous one. Um, so I'm gonna keep it short. So my biggest struggle is knowing when to actually fully get out, right? So what I do is I go into a trade, it goes positive. Well, unless it doesn't, but the point is for it to go positive. So it goes positive. I TP1, I TP like 10-15% every time, and I just lock it, and then I let it ride. It goes up, I don't know, however much, and I'm like, maybe I should close it fully, and then I don't, and it goes back to my entry, and I'm like, damn, if I took profit there, I would have made a lot more than what I did. So that's my biggest struggle right now. I need to like learn when to fully get out.
So that's something that will come with practice, like when we you'll learn that a lot when it comes to the order flow module. When we talk about order flow in the course, that's when all that's gonna really click in. Because I mean, even me, that's something I gotta work on. But I'll tell you this, bro, like no trader hits their full target 100%
Oh
of the
yeah.
time, obviously, you know what I mean? So that's why taking partials is important. And but also, this is a recommendation for anybody that's listening. Don't just think like, okay, I always say get good at losing, because then you can go back and we talked about the journaling, all that. But to me, I had a question actually on live on my YouTube channel, like, oh, what's my win rate? And do I consider it a win if I was targeting this and it didn't hit that? Like, that's, yeah, man, maybe you had profit, whatever, but your plan didn't work. Okay, like when you're entering at a zone, if you get stopped out, the plan didn't work. If when you're entering your trade, like for me, the trade begins with the exit. Where's my invalidation? Where's my target? If it doesn't hit my target, why did my target not work? So is it a win? Yeah, man, maybe, but your plan failed. And so what I recommend is go back and study your winners too. Because if you, like, there's a learning exercise. If you targeted, for example, you guys know me, I've been targeting the liquidity below for so long, and I've been smack dead wrong about tapping 90K, just like I was smack dead wrong about going back to 49K, right? So perhaps one of my weaknesses is focusing too much on macro liquidity. Fine, right? I own that. But going back and, okay, well, was that my order flow objective? Because why was I targeting that if it wasn't? Anyway, we'll talk about that in the order flow module.
Anyway,
Yeah, and if it
so yeah, okay, go on. Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, yeah, one thing that I've noticed here lately is, there's things that you want to see, and if it doesn't happen, I don't consider it a loss if it doesn't play out the way that I want it to play out, and I just end up getting out. I'm like, no, it's not doing what it should be doing, and if it's not doing that, just get out. That's not a loss. It's just your plan.
Yeah.
The plan didn't follow what you wanted. If you only take those ones that are playing out the way that you want it to go, that's a win. That's what you want to do. If it starts that way and it starts going against you, well, then it's not going the way that you want it to. So why are you in it?
Exactly.
So that if you can literally get that and just study that you want to see something, this is what it's going to do. And if it does this and then it's just taking too long, chances are that it's taking too long for a reason. It wants more
Yeah.
somewhere
It's
else.
deviating from the plan, period.
Yes,
So
yes.
get out, reassess, and then
Wait.
same with like if it doesn't hit your target, why didn't it hit it? Figure it out and then learn from it, kind of thing. That's where I was going
Yep.
with that. Nice, good, cool.
All right, so second question comes from Snipes. This is more for you three because for those who don't know, I haven't worked a proper job yet because I'm studying in university. And yeah, so he says how to trade while being at work. And he's like maybe time management in general too.
This question is like the bane of my existence.
In practice. All right, so let's hear it.
Same, dude. You want my
I
answer
swear it's the
first?
hardest part.
Why don't you guys go? I'm gonna go grab water real quick. I'll be back, but you guys go first.
Cory, how about you go first?
Okay, so when I moved down here to Florida, I was working IT security for a healthcare company. So I was able to take my job with me. So I was a telecommuter down here. So I actually had 3 screens that was just for work. So I had, 3 different screens every single day, IT all day long. And then over here, I've got the charts, or I've got, my distraction is happening over here.
Yeah.
So, for me, I sat in this desk for, 8 years and I worked my computer here. So, I mean, I didn't do a lot of trading. Trading was kind of on the side. So, I got laid off of my job 2 years ago after being there for 14 years. Then I decided to kind of step back for a little while because this was big time corporate America. It was a Fortune 500 company. So I took a step back and I wanted to just kind of, get out of the house, really. So I started a woodworking company and I was kind of doing that for the last year and a half. And obviously with the economy, I was kind of making wood art, different like epoxy surfboards, epoxy tables, things like that. So I got busy there for about a year, but then it really slowed down, and with the economy kind of going downhill. So when I moved down here to Florida, I actually make this quick. I bought a drone, right? I was one of the first people to buy a drone, and I'm right here on the coast. Like I could fly my drone from here to the beach and look at dolphins, literally from my house. So I was doing a lot of drone stuff on the side. So I started picking up business for like real estate agents and things like that. So I started a Facebook group and I built that Facebook group to 85,000 followers in a matter of.
Oh shit! I didn't know that. That's sick.
Yeah. So, you've probably seen some of the videos I've done, Gio. But I edit, I record, I film, all that stuff. Well, I've amassed so much content. Like I'd bring my drone with me to the beach. I'd bring a boat with me. I've got dolphins, fishing, you name it, because I'm in a tourist town. So I literally just I decided to go back to doing that because I have so much B-roll content that I've got companies that I've worked for around town that are coming to me now and saying, "Hey, we need good content. We need some of your good drone stuff." So I decided to actually start a social media marketing company, and I literally just got my promo video done last night. So I am going to be doing, probably want to pick up like 10 or 15 accounts where I post their social media reels. I'm working with a real estate agent who has no social media at all. So obviously I know how to build a page. I have a Facebook group with 30,000 followers. I have my page of 70. I have my Instagram at 10,000. So they now are coming to me and say, "Hey, we need help. We need content." So I'm going to start managing their accounts, posting my videos in their accounts to get the views.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm doing now. And then, so it's still sitting here in front of a computer, doing some editing, learning AI right now, and then going out and doing the film. I kind of do it all. I guess.
For me, I told my boss to fuck off. I'm in a trade. Get out of here. I'm trying to get into a trade. Gio, your appointment's here. Shut up. Tell them I'm busy. I'm trying to make money right now. That's what I did. No, I'm just kidding. But I was working in a
See,
bank.
that's what I used to do, and then I changed
Man, I was
jobs.
working. I'm gonna tell you, I was working in a bank. I would see a dot on Market Cipher. I would long or short, and then I would come back and I would be obliterated. That's the how I began. And then I ended up going corporate. And then during the fake virus, when they started to like make people work from home, things got obviously slower, but I was getting paid the same. And when I was working from home and I was on, I went, okay, I was working in the branch. So I was retail, and then I went corporate. And as I was going corporate, that's when I started being work from home, like in the same company at the bank. And I was 3 months of training, and it was so boring. And I was just like, my work was here, my trading was there. I was, one eye was always there. And then 3 months, literally, I'm not even joking. The day I finished my training was the day that I gave my 2 weeks notice. Like they spent 3 months training me for this role, and the day that they moved, like I was basically like, long story short, I was basically an account manager for like commercial accounts across Canada. The day that they changed the previous person who was training me for 3 months to mine, like, okay, let's change all the accounts. This is your new account manager. And it was me, and all the introductions were already done and whatever. The day it was like official, I was like, yo, I'm giving my 2 weeks notice. Like, man, anyways, that's my story. I screwed them over so hard, but
How long ago was that?
that was in 2021.
Oh, okay.
Whenever I was working with my dad, it was easy because I'd just have it on my phone. I'd be like in your live streams. I'd be in the Discord the whole time. Just check everything on my phone. If he comes over, starts saying to me, I say, "Fuck off! I'm making money." That approach worked when I was working with my dad, but then I switched jobs, and I'm like driving all day now. So I don't really think they'd like it if I'm trading and driving.
You gotta trade and drive. I trade and drive all the time. It's bad.
I'm on camera, man.
It's
I'm on
bad,
camera.
dude. I posted a video. The other day of me, like, just, I kind of switched like vlog style, where whatever, I was in the car and I was talking and I was like, guys, this is what you need to do, okay? I was like, you need to be more tricky with your trades. Like, it needs to do exactly what you want it to do. And then somebody commented and was like, the guy with no seatbelt and trading from his phone is telling us what to do. And I was like, damn, touche. Shouts out to you, man.
That's good risk management.
Exactly.
You're putting all your risk is in real life and none trading. Okay, so you're just leveraging.
This exactly. Well, if I get into a trade, because we're in a trade zone, I'm not gonna not get into the trade, and then the trade doesn't do what I need it to do. Like, I gotta manage that shit. Yeah.
Man,
I mean, really, you just kind of have to work around your schedule, though. And honestly, it's kind of easier to just do swing trading over scalping whenever you have, like, you just do all your homework, find your zones and all that stuff while you're off work. Then
yeah, let's actually answer
take
the question.
Your position. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do.
Let's actually answer the question. So basically, long story short, so yeah, you could swing trade. Okay, you definitely could swing trade. You can also scalp, okay? But you need to understand that your scalps are scalps and they're not swing trades, is the long story short of it. Which means if you're working full time, right? You're working 8 hours a day. You come home, you eat, you sleep, whatever. You maybe have like 4 or 5 hours of free time. Let's just say, pretend. Then those 4 or 5 hours are your trading time, which means you have to identify where your trades are in that time. If they give it to you, you take it. If they don't give it to you, you don't take it. That's scalping, though. Like, you're in and out. And then you can TP and move your stop to the entry, and maybe it turns into a swing trade. Especially if you're in a swing trading zone, like, those are the best, because you could scalp those zones and then they end up being swing trades, like the swing trade that we currently have on Sui, by the way. I will let you guys know maybe next week how that's working out. So far, it's working out well. Yeah, you could do it like that, or you could just like low leverage, low position size. Join the Nexus. Cory is giving bombs here with his altcoins. This guy's posting like, I don't even know, 5 altcoin plays a day, and they're like day trades and swing trades. So how do you do it? You join the fucking Nexus and you thank Cory's ass for giving you the setups. That's how you do it.
Geo real time works too.
Yeah, but my real
You got
time
two
is like you're
places.
gonna be at work and you're gonna be like, oh my god, Geo's updating. Oh my god, Geo's updating. Wait, didn't he just update? Oh, he just
It
updated
depends on your
again.
job.
What the hell? He's updating again. He just updated like 7 times. Man, that's why we had to add those rules in, because he's like, dude, I came into the Discord after one day of work and there's 128 like at everyone's. He's like, you guys need to chill. And I was like, okay.
Man, I'm
Let me
gonna
like pick and choose who gets the
man,
notifications.
there's sometimes I'm out like on a date or something, and we're eating food or we're like doing drinks, and my phone is just constantly going off. It's like geo updating at Nexus Script at Nexus Script.
Man, it's because I know what it's like to trade alone, and I know what it's like
Yeah.
to like, oh my god, the price is moving right now, I gotta get in. So I feel like it's my responsibility to constantly remind people, like, guys, there's nothing to fucking do right now. Sometimes my updates are like, all right, guys, there's literally nothing to update. But why do I do that? Because I need you guys to know, like, there's
That
nothing to
nothing.
fucking do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because I was
I
there,
really
I
enjoy
did
it.
it. I'm like, oh man.
I really enjoyed those because when you're like this is ass or there's nothing going on, I'll be like, okay, well I don't have to worry about it. So
Yeah.
those are I mean all the geo updates are good. I mean even some of the ones that I've put out there, they're pretty high probable because they bounced off a certain zone, and market structure on maybe 10-minute has flipped. So what I'll do on even some of them is if it looks really good, I'm posting it. Then I can utilize that for scalp trades because if you know that you're just making higher highs, wait for a pullback to the 50 EMA, and if it breaks ahead, if it closes candles or doesn't close candles below, that's a good entry. So I'll use some of those trades that I've got just to maybe make a little bit here and a little bit there where I don't need to sit in there. I didn't catch the bar. They're not riding it all the time. But I know that it's moving, so why not get in and make some beer money and then go ahead and do
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, man. And then when we're in sync, because you're doing the EMAs and the structure and all that together, when like that, those could turn into day trades or even swing trades. So when I'm doing the real time updates and I'm like, I'm not in yet, guys, and I'm like, I'm waiting for this, and then I get it. Now all of a sudden, you could put big money down on my real time calls that are on your swing plays. You know what I mean? So Nexus, that's your answer.
We're getting there. We're getting there.
Nexus, join.
Man,
Got one.
teamwork is so strong in trading. Like it's insane.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it is nice because you can take a screenshot. Like a lot of times, I'll put a screenshot out there of something that I see, and somebody might call. And I've had people come in and call me out and be like, "Yo, what about this?" And then I may have missed. Like yesterday, it happened. I said something on XRP, and I thought it took the low, and swept the low and continuing up. So I'm telling people to watch for an entry, and then someone called me out, and I looked back and I was like, "Oh, you know what? It didn't take that time frame." So now if it didn't take that time frame, we're no longer targeting the high. And when they do, that ended up saving me from getting in because it went up one notch and then it fell back down again. So yeah, having the group, even just the crypto chat, anybody can post something in there, and some 2 or 3 people are going to respond, and they're going to help you.
You're gonna have multiple eyes on it, yeah.
Man, and it's gonna get really fun really soon because I'm working on the course, and the course is being uploaded as upon completion, and it's gonna get really really fun because as you all know what to start looking for, I'm not gonna need to do so many real-time updates anymore. You guys are gonna know it. You know what I mean? So it's everyone just works together, and it's just, man, I'm so excited for. The last month has been great. We've been officially launched now for literally only 1 month. To see what we've already done in just 1 month is pretty crazy. But I think in the next 2 months, 3 months, because it takes time to edit and get the modules out and organize it and plan it. And then I'm like, this doesn't make sense chronologically. I gotta figure it out and reshoot it and all that. I think in the next 2-3 months, when a good chunk of the course is out and people know what to look for and we're all on the same page, at least in terms of the way that I would trade, I can be a little bit more hands off and the Nexus just runs itself. And that's ultimately what the goal is. And it helps everybody. It's a win-win across the board. There's way too many coins for me to watch and way too many of you that are like, Geo, can you check this? Geo, can you check that? Like, you guys see on my live streams every morning, it takes me like an hour to figure out Bitcoin sometimes. One coin takes me an hour.
How many
And that's,
modules do you have? Are you doing total?
let's take a stroll down the notes. We got, as of right now, subject to change, we have 3 was market structure. Right now, I'm working on smart money, which is 4, and I have 15 lessons in smart money. Okay.
Wow.
Then module 5 is ranges.
Oh, so that's breaker blocks and
Yeah. Module 5 is ranges, which currently, this is probably going to change. Currently have 9 lessons. And then module 6 is order flow. So that's where we're going to learn the trade management. That's where we're going to learn, why didn't it hit your target? You know, why were you even targeting this? Did it make sense to target that? It's not always as simple as just, oh, this is liquidity, go target. It's not like that, right? There are variables to it. 7 is additional confluence. So going to be pulling fibs and, you know, more volume, more retail shit, like more of like the EMAs. And I don't really trade EMAs. That's why it's later in the module, because, like, to be honest, who cares about it? But it is what it is. Like, we got to do something in regards to that, because people need to know what that is. 8 is going to be indicators, which is why it's way later in the course, because as you know, over the past year or so, I've even deviated. I don't even use the volume bars at the bottom of the candles anymore. I just use strictly the candles. And then my last one is going to be the fun one, which is just random. It's literally called Module X, because I don't know how many there's going to be. So Module X, and it's going to be called everything else. And it's like the discrepancies between the exchanges, you know, SMTs. If a daily candle opens and goes just straight up or just straight down, what does that mean, etc. All that thing. Dude, we are pumping right now. My
No, I got
goodness.
I got into XRP when I saw that flip.
I'm not gonna lie to you, I FOMO longed. I FOMO longed on this call up $140.
All right, next question, Jet. Do you wanna do the honors?
How many
Yeah, I
more do we
got you.
have, Dak? How many more do we have?
We have after this one, we have 3
3.
more.
Okay, let's make this the last one, because we've been 1 hour. We'll hit the other ones next week. It's fine.
All right, sounds good.
Don't make it.
You
a
got
pick the best
FOMO, don't
one.
you?
No, I don't have FOMO,
Yeah.
but it's been 1 hour. It's been 1 hour. You guys know I have ADHD. It's been 1 hour. If my ADHD is ADHD,
I know. I
that
got to go.
that means
cook
the
for
viewers
wife.
are, man. Listen, we're extending our own stay here a little bit too long. So let's what's the last? Let's pick the last one, Dak, the best one, and then we'll wrap up.
All
Yeah,
right,
pick
wait.
which one you want, Dak.
So let me just take a look.
I don't know if Geo cares about that first one. Not gonna
This
lie.
is crazy,
Yeah.
dude. Oh my goodness. Okay, we're about to hit a short zone too.
Okay, this one's good. We're choosing the last one, Jet.
Okay. From Morsi, can you talk about the importance of backtesting? Maybe give a couple pointers and explain how it's helped you.
That is very important. The reason why is because everything that has happened up until today is in there, ready for you to look at. All you got to do is go back and get it. Okay? So like I talked about earlier, was find those patterns. Find a pattern that looks like what's happening right now. If you're looking at taking a long, do this. I'd say do this for a month straight. Go into the chart, put your little long part in there, see if it went long, and I guarantee you look left, you're going to find a similar, if not exact same layout. So, definitely back test, because you can see, why did it go here? Why did it reject? Why did it keep coming down? And you'll see that it literally all comes down to, when you start looking at it, like, all you gotta do is just stare at the tops of them candles, because the tops of the candles, like Gio says every day, there's liquidity there. Why is it going there? Well, it's going there to get liquidity. Nothing ever goes straight up. Nothing ever goes straight down. But it's going to the next candle top. Where is that candle top? Why did it stop here? Well, it stopped here because you had a supply zone. You had the flip. And then where did it go? Well, it's going to start targeting them candles coming back down. So Yeah, definitely take a look. I mean, it's nice to, even though it's the 1 minute, but start on the one and then go out to the 1 hour from the one, then go to the 4 hour. So it's very important
I
and
mean,
easy to do.
backtesting is where you really get like the clear picture of why things happen, because it gets really muddy in the present time when you're trying to watch and picture what's about to happen. But going back and looking, I mean, they say hindsight's 20/20 for a reason, because you can actually see what happened, and then you can pick out the patterns and figure out why that move did what it did. Because in
Yeah,
the
I
present, you just get overwhelmed and confused.
Yeah,
I
live
agree,
betting
man.
can be quite messy because of emotions as well.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, it's quite simple. You need to backtest. And it's not even about needing to backtest because you need to backtest, and that's not even what it's about. And a lot of people think, okay, it's like homework and whatever. The reason you need to backtest is because you need to, okay, you need to have form with your trading, okay? If you're shooting a free throw and your form is shit, you're going to miss your free throw, right? You can't analyze your form if you are not doing the same thing every time. And that's why backtesting is important. It's not actually about the backtesting, in my opinion, anyway. If you can't backtest, it's because you don't have a systematic way that you're trading with to be able to backtest. So it's not the actual backtesting that's important. It's being able to put all of the pieces in trading together, right? If you just long or short just willy-nilly, there's no systematic thing to analyze. So you're not, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
that's why I believe backtesting is important, for that reason. Not actually about the backtesting itself, which of course it's important, but you can't backtest if you don't have rules. Because then what are you even backtesting? You're not backtesting anything, right? It's too
You're just
subjective.
looking, yeah, you're just looking at candles going up and down if you
It's
don't
too
have anything.
subjective. Yeah, it's too subjective. So that's my opinion. That's my answer. Not a normal answer that most people will give, but that's my answer.
I don't think I have anything else to add. Like, you guys pretty much covered everything on that.
Thanks for the
All right.
invite.
Well
So
then,
yeah,
Cory, listen, you are, man, you've changed the Nexus. I'm very grateful for you. They're very grateful for you. This shit's
Thank
pumping. I
you.
gotta make sense of what's about to happen right now. Gotta update the boys,
I
because
know.
that level that I just told them we gotta watch for, that got just blown through. So we gotta figure out what the hell's going on here. But Cory, thank you for coming, bro. You're always welcome. Shouts out to Cory. Everybody, show some love in the comments. If you made it this far, thank you. Show some love in the comments with some tree emojis for Cory.
leave some questions for
Thank
the
you.
next podcast as well.
Yeah, leave some.
We have three more. We have three more questions left from this time that we're gonna answer on the next one. But leave some more questions, and we're gonna answer them on the next one as well. Maybe leave a couple, one of those for episode 5.
Sounds good.
That's
Thanks,
it.
guys.
That's all she wrote. Thank you, sir. I'll see you
Thank you
in there.
for coming on.